Katie, I first want to thank you for doing this. This is so exciting for me. Like I mentioned to you a few days ago, this show was one of my favorites. Like I love anything music, I love anything girl groups, boy bands, any sort of pop star sort of thing has always been my thing. And when I saw clips for the show before it premiered, I was like, this is right up my alley. I was like, it's reality TV, but they're going towards something. It's not just like trashy reality TV like we have today. But and when I started this page, it was just me uploading little clips to reminisce during the whole COVID era. And then I started tagging some of the contestants, and the feedback has just been amazing from the contestants. They're like, "Oh my God, I remember this," and some of them have re-linked and are talking again. So I just want to thank
You
you.
did that for me. You did that for me. I got to relink up with some girls I was close to because of you.
Oh, well.
Yeah, like Shonda. And yeah, you really
Ah,
helped. I think you don't realize how much you're helping all of us because, yeah, I was really connected to so many of those girls, and to have them to see what's going on in their lives has been such a gift to me and so many of the other girls. So I think we all feel like, thank you. Thank you for what you do.
well, thank you, thank you. Before we start talking about actually the pop stars, I wanted to know, growing up, did you have any sort of musical background or dance background? How did that start for you?
Well, I think it first started with my mom. My biological mom wanted to be a dancer and an actress, and that was her passion. So she stuck me into like the Riverside School of Ballet, and I started being classically trained in dance at a very young age. And it was hardcore. Like the Riverside Ballet is no joke. So that started my dancing. Thank goodness I really enjoyed it. But at that point, I had no idea I could sing. I was clueless that I could sing. But I remember being 6, and my dad, when he would deliver bad news, would give me like a gift. So he gave me this purple radio. And I remember thinking, uh-oh, what's he going to tell me? And he's like, get divorcing your mom. And I'm like, ah. But I was like, okay, give me my radio. Let me go listen to my radio. And so I would go out on my lawn and I would play Whitney Houston, is my favorite artist of all time, still is. And I would play her music and I would just get lost in fantasy. Like it was so healing for me, as I said, especially because I just found out my parents were divorcing. So it soothed me. It gave me an escape. And yeah, I fell in love with music then. I still didn't know I could sing. So I was really just dancing on the lawn. And then at 11, where I went to middle school, there was mandatory choir. Like one quarter you'd take choir, another home ec, and then another wood shop. And
Mhm.
when we were in choir, we were going to do the Little Mermaid. That's what we were going to perform. And the choir teacher said, I'm going to walk around the room and listen to everybody's voice, and then I'll choose who the Little Mermaid was going to be. And I'll never forget her walking by me and stopping. And she just was listening to me. And it was like, can I sing? Like I was 11, like I wasn't young. And she's like, you're the Little Mermaid. And I still was unsure of myself until the performance. And then I looked around after I sung, and I was like, wow, these people seem really into it. And then my chosen mom, who raised me, my dad's third wife, so after my mom, she was just bawling. So I'm like, I could be really good at this. And ever since then, I secretly wanted to be a singer. When I tried to say, oh, dad, I want to go to Hollywood and be a singer, he was like, no, you're going to college. So I did that first. I went to UCSD, got my degree. And then after that, I started singing on ships, which I loved. I loved singing on cruise ships. Like I did Janis Joplin and Tina Turner, and These Boots Are Made for Walking. Like I have like a big gospel type voice. And then after the cruise ships, my producer called that I had been working with, and he's like, Christina Aguilera and Britney Spears are really popping off, and they're younger than you. You need to get back here and get on TV. And so, like, the week I got back, I was listening to Kiss FM 102.7, and I heard this audition announced, and it's like, are you between 18 and 25? Can you sing and dance? I'm like, oh, well, I can. There's a new show called Pop Stars. So I went really early in the morning because I always like to be at the front of the line. And I almost turned around because that line was already wrapped around the hotel and it was Los Angeles. And I'm like, nope, God, give me some courage. I'm going to do it anyway. And I got in line, and right behind me in line, like a few girls down, was Anna Maria. And we became really quick friends, really fast in that line. And we continued the friendship throughout. And yeah, that's how I ended up on Pop Stars.
Okay. Okay, that's fun. I mean, just doing that theater when you were small and getting picked to do Little Mermaid, and then you questioning whether if you had a voice, which then led to other stuff, and then the show. Prior to the show, I'm not sure if, like you said, you kind of wanted to pursue singing at some point. Did you ever have any auditions where you had already maybe met some of the contestants, or just meeting, that was the first time meeting all the girls?
I would say I was really lucky. So my first audition was I looked, there was this magazine because there was no internet back then called Backstage or something. I can't remember the name of it. And it was auditioning for a little girl group and it was called Blues Day, that group. And I got it. And I was the lead singer of that group. And then that producer is who put me up for the first audition for the cruise ship. And I got it. So I got it again. And then for Pop Stars, this is wild because I really, at that time, I was 23 years old and I didn't want to be a pop star. I wanted to be a rock star. I was really into Gwen Stefani of No Doubt, and I was really into Shirley Manson from Garbage. Like I saw that as my vision. I had also fallen in love for the first time with this Canadian rock star, and I was dating him, and I didn't want him to know I was going to be on a show called Pop Stars. So I didn't tell anybody, not one person, not my family, not my friends, not my boyfriend at the time. And I went to that audition just by myself, first TV audition. All these were first auditions. And I really didn't think they were going to choose me because everyone else was really what I call TV friendly, meaning I want to be a pop star and I'm so glad I'm here. And I just hid from the camera. I just turned away. I didn't let them interview me at all because I didn't know if I wanted to be there. And to get very personal with you, I struggled with body dysmorphia. So I could not see what I look like. And I found myself to be very unattractive. And I thought I was very large. I thought I was like very overweight. So I couldn't understand why they would want me. And then, of course, I'm looking at my friend Donna Maria, a few girls down the line, and she looks like a supermodel. So I was really caught up in comparison in my head.
Mhm.
So going through that process, I couldn't believe that they kept picking me through all of the rounds. And then when you get to the part where they're going to call you to say if you made it, they asked if they could film it. And I'm like, no, I'm not going to let you film me, rejecting me. So I was working with my parents selling websites in a big convention center when they called me and they told me I was on the show. And I went and told my parents, so I didn't tell you this, but I auditioned for a TV show and I made it. So for me in the beginning, it just, I don't know, it just happened. I struggled later in music. I didn't always get a yes after Pop Stars, but up until Pop Stars, the few things I did, I was just getting them all, which is rare. And also I found out like I became really good friends with Garland, who you've interviewed, and she like had a lot of experience. So I realized me and a few other girls, we were very green. You know, I'd really only been on that cruise ship and in this little girl group that had just started recording. So I was very green compared to like Garland and Nicole had already been doing real cool stuff and she came from a performing arts school. So yeah, I think I was just shocked the whole time. I'm like,
To be
okay.
getting, yeah, to be getting through. But obviously, if you kept advancing, there was the talent there, which is one of the things when I watched the show. It's a lot of girls that went to the LA workshop are not fully featured on the show. And I get it that there was 26 of you, so there was a lot of which ones are we going to show and which ones are we going to not. But I remember back then when I was watching, I would always be like, Katie made it to the workshop, and I think it was also Jessica and Molly, and I was like, we really have not seen a lot of them. Do you remember for your Pop Stars audition what song you sang for them, and then on your callbacks as well?
I do. I'll walk you through the audition process, but I first want to say, you know, that Taylor Swift song, It's Me, I'm the Problem, It's Me. The
Yes.
reason I was not featured is because anytime the camera came near me, I ran away. Okay. So I was either hiding in the bathroom or hiding in craft services because they couldn't go in there. I just really wasn't comfortable in my skin back then. So I didn't give them a lot to work with. So for me personally, I kept running away from the camera, and that's on me. Um, when it came out on air, I was relieved because I was struggling with body dysmorphia. But now, as a woman who's about to turn 48 tomorrow, that has a 4 year old, I was like, I wish I would have been outgoing and there would have been more footage of me to share with my child. But back then, I was just relieved. I was relieved to not be on it too much. And
Mhm.
then back to your original question, what happened with the audition? I do remember really clearly because I was very scared. They It was a long line. When they finally let us in, there was lots of us, and they put us like on these circles. Like there was a ton of circles in this big like convention center room, and there was producers walking up and down the lines, and they literally like would tap a girl on the shoulder if they wanted her to go home. And I was just like,
Oh,
whoa, I
that's
can't believe
intense.
it. It was really intense. And then thankfully I made it past that part. And then we had to choose between like 4 or 5 songs. And I wanted to do Whitney Houston because it's my favorite artist ever. But from looking around the room and looking like what I thought they were going for, I decided to do Christina Aguilera's Genie in a Bottle because that was what was on the radio and current, and I wanted to be current. My best friend Nicole, who was on the show, she always teased me because I was always wearing braids or pigtails because that was me trying to appear younger. Because I thought at 23 I was over the hill, you know.
Oh no.
So let me look young. Let me put my hair in pigtails, but I wasn't. I was like the average age of the girls. Like everybody was between 18 to 25. The youngest was Alexandra. I'm not going to say who the oldest was because I don't know if they want me to, but I was right in the middle. And I sang Genie in a Bottle, and it went great. And they chose me. And then I went on to the next round of auditions. And, you know, I remember having to talk to them and, you know, be interviewed and sign, I'm going to be honest, my life away. I had this big, all I had to sign all these papers. And I'm like, okay, here we go, signing it. And then the next day, I had the dance callbacks, and I felt much more comfortable that day because I did have that dance background in
Mhm.
like jazz and ballet, and I had an instant connection with Travis Payne. I actually really connected with all of the judges a lot, and Roger Love. Like I was very blessed. I connected really well with all the girls, and I connected really well with all the judges. The only person or not person I couldn't connect with was the camera. So I made bad television. I was too nice to everyone and I ran away from the camera. So yeah.
When you arrived, well, you auditioned in LA, so you didn't have to fly in like some of the other contestants. But once you got there, do you remember how long was the workshop experience for you? Like the actual timeline? Was it done in like a few days or was it?
Do you mean the audition process or when we were on TV, when we were chosen for the TV show? Like the workshop where we all lived together and roomed together. That
Yes,
part?
yes, yeah, that part, yes.
Okay, so that this is really interesting. So everybody else like flew in, except for there were 6 of us from LA. Okay, and Garland lived in LA, but me, my apartment was 1 mile from where we filmed. 1 mile. That's it. The girls, some of the girls came and stayed with me and lived with me afterwards, like Shonda and Anna Maria, so they could pursue other things. That's how close I was to where we filmed.
Okay.
And they told us to say we were part of an aerobics convention. So if somebody asked, "What are you girls doing here?" We'd say a part of aerobics convention. And we did all this cool stuff. Like they put us on this double decker red van, and we
Yeah,
got to
I saw
go
that.
through,
Yeah.
yeah, LA. We got to go shopping in a shopping store. I'm not into shopping, but some of the other girls were really into that. And we actually did a ton. I'd say 5 to 7 days I was there. Like we were there a while. Like I have such deep memories from the workshop experience. Like, and then
Okay.
we'll get to this, but they called me to come back. Like I went and re-auditioned again.
Yes, Garland said the same thing too when I talked to
We
her,
both did.
which is
And
stuff
so did,
that it's not
yeah,
shown on the
Chisa.
show.
Yeah, Chasa got called back, I believe. I'm not certain, but I'm almost positive. Camille, I think, got asked back too. There was like five of us that got asked to come back. And yeah, I went back and everything. And it didn't make it. It didn't air on the show. But yeah, we all went back.
Yeah, because I mean, when you watch the episodes, sometimes they're cut so out of order because they'll show like, oh, the top, let's pretend like it says the top 15, but they only show 10 girls, and it's like, well, this is after this and that. So the way the whole workshop episodes are shot and put together, they're so out of timeline. So I was just wondering like how long was the actual workshop process?
Oh my gosh. For some reason, it felt like forever. But it was probably, and I got eliminated in the first cuts of the workshop, and I knew it was coming. I wanted to go. So 5 to 7 days for the first part of the workshop before the first cuts. So
Okay.
yeah,
So
because I
yeah,
had so many experiences. Like I can remember all my deep relationships with the girls and getting to know their stories and their family life and, getting to know my roommate. So I felt like I was there a while.
who was your roommate in on the show?
Izzy, Isabel,
Oh, okay.
she was a twin. Do you remember
Yes,
her?
yes, I do remember, yes.
She was so wonderful. Yeah.
Yeah, because for
I'm
even
very
for that,
friendly. So like my experience with all the girls was really, really positive. I know I had heard some of the girls saying that there was cat fights, but not with me. Like I think I give out a lot of love, so I receive a lot of love.
yeah,
So
you literally since we have been talking, you just seem so like welcoming, so personable, so friendly, so loving, which has made this entire thing really like smooth and easy for me. Because I mean, I love doing this stuff, but at the same time, I'm a little bit like, oh, should I reach out? Should I not? Maybe they're busy. I don't want to like intrude. But you have just been like so like basically with open arms, and I'm like, oh, she's so
yeah.
nice and so sweet.
That's the best compliment I could get is that I'm friendly and welcoming and loving. And you did mention to me when we were back and forth that you can sometimes be shy. And that reminded me of my best friend that I met on the show, Nicole, because we're kind of like opposites. Like she was very shy and quiet, but when the camera came on, she'd come alive. And I'm like the reverse. Like I'm really friendly and outgoing, and I made friends with everybody and I loved it. And then the camera would come on and I'd be like, like I
Yeah.
was so I get that. I see you, but I think you're so great at this. And I hope you keep doing this. And I would love to help you get other girls on the show because I am
Yeah.
still connected with some
Yeah,
people.
I did reach out to three girls last night. So let's hope and let's see if they have time. But I will
Well,
keep you posted.
afterwards,
But
tell me who they are so I can put in a good word and
I
tell them.
will, I will. My ultimate goal with this would be, I mean, it would be fun to just interview all the girls that end up going to the LA workshop. That would be fun, and just hearing the stories. Because like I'm telling you, I was such a fan of the show. So just hearing the little behind the scenes stuff, it's like, like even though like you said, it's been 20 something years, it's like to me. Even before we even did this interview, I started rewatching the episodes yesterday, trying to make sure like, oh, let me ask her about this or that. But you
I
did talk a
want to
little bit
see them.
about.
Send me the clips. I want to rewatch it too,
Oh, I will. I will. I'll send you. Yes, I'll send you the stuff. You did talk a little bit about the judges and how you
Mhm.
connected with them. As far as each one, what did you feel you learned and gained from them during your time at the workshop and working with them?
Okay, I want to start with James because I just wanted to be like James. Like she had just such this regal, commanding energy, but was so sweet and lovely and kind. She was also David Foster's sister.
Hmm.
And I just loved everything about James. Like, she was like the woman I wanted to become. And Jen was just so nice, like, and friendly and cool. Roger Love, such a wonderful, kind man, made me feel very calm. Travis was my favorite of all time. Like we continued after the show. I would like go to parties at his house. I'd still get to see him all the time in LA. Like he's just like the sunshine, Travis Payne. Like I just really, he's who I was the closest to for sure. And David Foster, like I loved David Foster. David Foster is such like he's a legend, but he's
Yes.
also so cool and kind and welcoming. So yeah, like we were so, I didn't realize it at the time, but we were so blessed. Like these people are incredible that we're
Yeah,
working with.
it's so funny
I
because
had no clue.
years later, sorry. I was gonna say,
No, but
yeah,
I
it's
know.
so funny because I saw the show, but then years later you see like all like everything they've done prior to the show and then after the show. And my biggest thing is I was like, oh, that's David Foster for me, like from Pop Stars. That's Roger Love from Pop Stars. But it's like they've done so much. But no, yeah, I agree.
I still see David Foster because my best friend goes and sings with Bocelli. So I always get to see him when I go watch Bocelli sing with my best friend. And he's done so much since, before, after, and he's still the kindest, coolest, most amazing guy. Like he's just, I can't say enough great words about all of them.
And then as far as any like fun memories from the actual filming the workshop when you were there, like that they didn't show on the show that you would want to share?
Yeah. Connecting with the girls because I think a lot of us had, how do I put this kindly, or a lot of us had some tough upbringings. I did. I had a really tough upbringing. And to connect and see other women thriving and shining despite their pain, that was really transformative for me. Um, and I can see people really well. Like I can see their energy. Like with Nicole, she was the only girl that walked in late, and I felt for her. I felt for her because I could see that she was uncomfortable and shy, and she had to come in while the cameras were already rolling. None of the rest of us had that experience. She was the only one late. She's still always late. Sorry, Nicole, if you see this. Um, yeah, and so I took her kind of under my wing in terms of friendship. Like I was like, I got your back, girl. I'll be there for you. And 25 years later, we're still best friends. And I just went and saw her perform on Broadway. So my connections, I was very close to Chesa. I was super close to Shonda, really, really close to Garland. Like I just think that girl is a star, not just in terms of music and dancing, but in life. Like what she's done with her life, just like makes my heart burst with joy. Like she's just an incredible woman. I saw you interviewed her. She's the best.
Yeah.
But yeah, I just had a lot of good friendships, you know?
Okay. When you said that you got eliminated, you said you saw it coming,
Oh yeah.
and you feel your elimination was because you were trying to be not in camera, or do you feel like it was because the talent, and not that you're talented, because everyone there had amazing voices, amazing dance. So what exactly did you
I know
feel?
what it was because I had producers that were like pulling me to the side and asking me, you know, to be more on camera, to be more cooperative, to I also was really nice to everyone that doesn't make really good reality TV show, you know what I mean? I'm not going to be like complaining about another girl because that wasn't my experience. So I think yeah, I think it was on me once again. I think I was pretty uncooperative and they weren't getting what they wanted out of me, which was footage. And so like I felt that for sure that I was going to be eliminated. I was ready to be eliminated. And I think I kind of wanted to go home because I was trying to be the next Gwen Stefani. And I didn't think that this was the vehicle to get me to that destination. So I wish looking back, like I would have just had more fun and put a little more effort in and not been so self conscious. But at that time in my life, I just, you know, they'd come up to me and say, why do you want to be a pop star? And I'd be like, well, I don't. I want to be a rock star. I just didn't make great television back then, you know?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
And then you then talked about how you were brought back, you and a few of the other girls. How was that experience?
I loved that too. We went back to a studio. We got to work with David Foster again. Whenever I was working with David Foster, like that was like getting to be in a master class. So I wish I could remember what they had me sing. I think we were all singing the same song. And as I said, there was, I think, 5 of us that they asked to come back. I'm almost certain 100% one of them was Camille because we became very close on that show and continued our friendship after the show. And pretty sure Chesa was another one. Yeah.
And then, I mean, I'm hearing you talk about it now. I feel like there was no plans for you to like audition for the second season of the show. Or is that something that you
No,
considered? Mm.
No, like I was already like I got really lucky after that show. I ended up in this incredible band called Mr. Plow with these boys from Iowa that already had a development deal. They already had the producer Mike Klink who worked with Guns N' Roses because I was a rock girl back then.
Hmm.
We were recording right next door to the Black Eyed Peas before they even found Fergie. Like I was
Hmm.
already living a dream. So I liked where I was at. So I definitely didn't think about the next show. Yeah.
Yes, yes. So then, yeah. So then, after the show, you talked about how you were already doing these stuff. Any of those projects that you really enjoyed and would want to share?
Yeah. So many. Like, once again, I feel really blessed. Like, out of all the bands I was in, Mr. Plow was my favorite. Those six boys were like my brother. And then also, my brother passed away while I was on that, while the show was airing. He passed away and it was an accident 3 days before his 21st birthday. And so that was hard to get through. So I had Nicole, that's why she calls me sister. She really helped me through it. The boys in my band helped me through it. And what I do when I'm in pain is I songwrite. So I wrote a song called Vacant Eyes, which I'll send you. That was the only song of mine I've ever heard on the radio. And yeah, that song, oh, it was so healing for me. So, and we'd tour, like, we'd all get in a passenger bus and go play shows in Iowa. Like, I felt like I got to live my Gwen Stefani moment with No Doubt in that little Mr. Plow band. And
Mhm.
I think that band would have been very successful, but a couple of the boys wanted to go home and go back to Iowa and get married and live normal lives. And then there was the other half of us in the band that we were like, no, don't leave. We want to do this forever. I was in the camp that wanted to keep going. But that band was special. But I was in a band just called the Katie Morris Project with a great producer. We made an album called We the Living. I had like seven recordings. Like I wish it was around the internet back then so we could pull them all up. But I had seven different albums. I had a couple albums before I was even on Pop Stars from that little group Blues Day. What's another band I was in? I've been in so many bands, it blows my mind. So after, up until I had my baby at 44, I kept performing in different bands just for the love of performing. My work was as a holistic life coach
Mhm.
because that is my true passion in life, even more than singing, is helping people. So that was always my job since 2009. But I also would have all these bands that were local that I'd sing, everything I wanted to sing, some original bands and some cover bands. So I kept music very much alive in my life.
Yeah, I mean, when I started doing the page, for some of the girls after the show, I did follow their careers and stuff like that. But you do have the We the Living, the album that is available on streaming. So, um,
Really? I didn't even know
mhm.
that.
it's
I'm going to go look for it.
it's on streaming. It's on Apple Music. And I remember
Oh,
I heard it when I first started doing the page. So that was, I guess, like 4 or 5 years ago. But like I said, for this, like I rewatched the show, I re-listened to the album, and your song, The West End,
mm-hmm.
one of my favorites.
Oh,
Literally,
cool.
I really like that one. Things I Can't Say, and then We the
Oh,
Living.
I
So,
love that.
so when you're talking about you wanted to live like this rock star like dream, and you keep mentioning Gwen Stefani, like literally when I was listening to basically the whole album, but those tracks specifically, I was like, this has like this like rock like edge, almost a little bit like folky, like, but amazing. I really love it. And the West End has been like on repeat for me.
You're going to make me go re-listen to all of that because I've recorded so much and it's all lost everywhere because so much of it was before internet times. I know that I keep telling my husband there's like boxes in the garage of like I literally have cassette tapes from when, because songwriting's always been my greatest gift. So songwriting is still I write songs every single day with my son who's 4. We create songs when we wake up songs. Wake up. Like we make
Yeah.
songs every single day. So you're inspiring me to go find my old music and listen again because it's just kind of like a musical diary of all the people I've been in my life
Hmm.
at this point. And I just think that's such a gift to have a recorded version of, like, when you just said Things I Can't Say. That's one of my favorite songs because my first like hardcore love, like the love of my life, that was the first time my heart was broken. That was the song I wrote for him, and we're still good friends now. He's like a really, yeah, an amazing doctor in the Bay Area that I call anytime my kid is sick. So we're still good
Wow.
friends. But at that time, like my heart was just broke. And it's so beautiful for me when I listen to it. I can hear the pain in that young girl's voice. And so those songs are also special to me.
Yeah, great album. Check it out. It's
I
on
didn't
Apple
even know it
Music.
was
Yeah.
available. I'll
It's
go
on
check
Apple.
it. I'm cool.
Um, as far as in your present life now,
Mhm.
you briefly talked about what you are currently doing. I do know too that you have a podcast, Midlife with Katie. If you could talk a little bit about that and what you're currently doing.
So right now, I always say as a life coach, act on whatever excites you most. So when people come to me and they want like direction with especially in their jobs, what most excites you? Like for you, if you love talking to people that were on, TV 25 years ago, you're killing it. You're doing it. So keep doing this. So for me, what happened when I had my child at 44, I was supposed to never be able to have a child. I was told at 15, you can't have children. Your ovaries look like an 80-year-old woman's ovaries, and I managed to figure out how to have a child at 44. And then after that, I had a lot of health struggles, and I really could not afford all the doctor's visits and the lab visits and the medicines. So I said, I'm just going to pray and I'm going to figure this out on my own. And I'm going to use Google and Chat GPT. And I did. I was able to lose 90 pounds. Like I went from 220 pounds out of the hospital to about 130 now. And I was able to completely fix my metabolic health. And so now I try to help women over 35 or 40 that are having health struggles. I help them with their health. So I'm like a health and wellness coach to women over 40. I help them with hormones, like whatever they need help with, I'm there for them. Yeah, I have a group coaching session and program starting tomorrow. So I'll
Okay.
have a group of 9 women. I keep the group small, and I'll just quickly share my story, and then after that share everything I've learned, because what I'm really trying to do is help the me 3 years ago. Like I was in so much pain and I wanted to be the best mom I could be, but all I could think of is I'm never going to be able to catch up with this child once this child starts walking and running. So I really needed to fix myself. And now, since I figured that out for myself, I try to help others figure that out for themselves.
Oh, okay. That's great. That's great. Because, like I said, I mean, you yourself, you exude such great vibes and positivity. So I could only imagine you are killing it at doing that.
I love it. I love it.
And then you
I
have
feel
this.
very grateful. I feel grateful that I've always been able to live my dream, whether that's singing, life coaching, or health coaching. Like I'm living my dream. I'm living in my purpose. And I'm a woman that is filled with faith. So God first.
Mhm.
And I just always kind of feel like God is whispering in my ear what to do next. And then I just do that. And that I think that keeps me happy.
Yeah. And then how are you enjoying the podcast? Because I know that you mentioned that that's more newer, a newer thing that you're doing, right?
Yeah, it's brand new. I launched it January 1st, 2025, and I'm really excited about what's to come because up until now I've been doing solo podcasts because I've been creating all of these deliverables so I could coach women. And now I'm physically coaching women. So now the podcast is kind of just been rebranded from Midlife with Katie to Midlife Alchemy. I'm going to give Nicole Scherzinger full credit for that. She literally was the person that told me to change my name, and we came up with it together. And the reason why I changed that is it's not just about health and it's not just about life coaching. It is about transforming. I see too often on the internet people saying, oh, I'm so don't like being in my 40s. I've got hot flashes. And I think it's time to rewrite that story because for me personally, my 40s is when my life really took off. I met my husband, who I'm obsessed with. I had my baby at 44. Like 40s have been my best decade ever. So I'm trying to rewrite that story, flip the script. I'm going to have all these amazing people on the podcast. I'm going to have Nicole on the podcast. I've got, because of my time in Hollywood, I've got all these connections with such amazing people. And I can't wait to have them on my podcast to share how in midlife, they can be your best years yet. And you can still do whatever you want to do whatever you want to do, whether it be for your health, your life, your business. You can do that. We have unlimited potential, all of us humans. It doesn't matter how old you are. So midlife alchemy is about transforming the ordinary into something extraordinary.
Yeah, exactly. It doesn't matter the age, I should
Yes,
say.
it doesn't matter the age.
Um, you have mentioned that you're still in contact with some of the girls. Um, but after the show, like who have you continued a friendship with and who do you still talk to?
Well, I have quite a few of them, but my best friend, she's not just somebody I call sister, but I'm also a huge fan of hers. So I had to sneak this in here. I just went to New York and I made her sign my playbill. I just had a whirlwind trip to New York where I got to see Nicole perform on stage twice for as Desmond. It's the best thing I've ever seen on Broadway. It's the best performance I've ever seen. And I know I sound like such a fangirl right now, but it's that good. Like everybody's got to go see that show. So I'm in constant contact with Nicole, and I have been for 25 years. I got to tour around the world with her. I got to go tour with her and Lady Gaga and see the world because she brought me along with her. So I'm just really grateful for Nicole. Like she's helped me in my business, she's helped me in my life. Like the thing I'm most grateful for her is for when my brother passed away, and I had a rough time. I started drinking too much. I started not treating myself the best. And she like kind of took care of me and kind of nursed me back to life. And I will be forever grateful to her for that. Garland, I love, love, love Garland. You know, we connect through, thank goodness for through social media, and we just have so much in common and really tight with Garland still. Yeah, I feel like I see Garland every day on my social media. So I feel like we're still in touch because every
Mhm.
day I see Garland and I just love that girl. Because of you, I got reconnected back with Shonda and we were really close. Man, that girl, that woman has so much talent. She reminded me of Whitney Houston. Shonda amazed me. And she came and stayed with me a bit while she was pursuing because I lived right down the street from the workshop. Loved Shonda Cheza. I was really close to Cheza. I love to see her shining. And thanks to you, I got reconnected. And now I get to watch Cheza sing with her daughter. Um, yeah, Anna Maria, I've lost touch with her, but I want to reach back out, but very close to her. I got along with everyone. I really did. So I felt like I had beautiful connections. Camille, I can't believe I forgot about Camille Guadi. I definitely think you should have her on because she's just so personable. She's an actress now. She's doing
Yeah.
great. And we were very close after filming wrapped too. So yeah, I definitely am in contact with the girls from the show.
That is so great that even after all these years you've been able to have those friendships. Because I know sometimes, especially
Yeah.
with like this type of like TV show where it's like they're kind of like chasing a dream. Sometimes it's just working on this project and then kind of like everyone just, oh, that was just somebody I auditioned with and like that's that. But it's great to hear that you have still these especially these strong connections and friendships with these people, the contestants.
Yeah, like all those girls, they have a part of me. Do you know what I mean? And there were
Yeah.
some girls that I was just friendly with. I loved all the girls, but like, you know, for instance, I loved Alex. She was the youngest one, but I wasn't like, I think my room wasn't close to hers. So was friends with everyone, but there's like about 5 to 10 girls that like we knew each other on such a deep level. Like I know their pain, I know their stories, I know that, you know, I guess I've always been a life coach even before I was one because I love when we can go deep, and those girls were all really willing to go deep with me. So I was really grateful for that.
Yeah, that's yeah. Um, I remember too when I interviewed Garland, she talked about one of her favorite memories was when you guys would get all together in that circle and just have like those open conversations, those like one-on-ones. So, I mean, it's great. It's great that you're friends with them. And then I know that we've been talking a little bit these last like weeks, but just like you. I am obsessed and I cannot wait. I am planning to go. I want to make sure that I go. But I just want to hear a little bit about the show.
Okay, good.
What did you think?
Good. I could talk about it all day long. So, first of all, and this is high praise, when she sings, but especially in this role, it's like I hear God coming through her vocal cords. Like it's an experience, it is transformative. It is, I'll never forget because I saw the matinee and then I saw the evening performance, and I would go backstage in between the performance. And you can see I'm very friendly and I talk a lot.
Hmm.
So she calls me sister. I call her sister, and I hear her because there's two dressing rooms, and I was in the dressing room that she was not in because I didn't want to. She just got off stage. I didn't want to blow in there, and I went and I had a breakdown because I don't want to give too much away, but I will say this: there is a character that plays a young Nicole, and the way this character was moving in the very opening scene. I started bawling right then because it was the girl I met 25 years ago on Pop Stars. So to think of that shy girl with so much talent, but didn't really fully believe in herself, to now see the woman that's on stage as Norma Desmond. And it's like that role was made for her. It is powerful. It is strong. It is commanding. Like, proud best friend. I'm a very proud best friend, but I think everybody should go see it. Like, she's a force. And
Oh
I
yeah,
just
no.
my prediction when I was on that TV show, I knew Nicole was going to be in the group. From the moment I met Nicole, I'm like, she's going to be a star. She's going to definitely be in this group. I was right about that. And with this performance, I 100% know it's going to catapult her into all of these other things
Yeah.
because that's how talented she is, you know?
Yeah, no, yeah. Nicole, amazing, amazing talent. I've followed her journey through every project she's worked on. I have stayed in the loop, seeing what new things she's doing. And then when I heard she was doing this, I was like, oh my God, I gotta make my way again to New York and make sure to watch it. Because I listened to the vinyl. I played it here in my office, and just listening to the vinyl was so th I don't even know if I could describe the feeling, but it was just so moving. So I could only imagine how it would feel to see it like right there on stage and like on Broadway. So I'm gonna go watch it for
Well,
sure, for sure.
bring your tissues because I turned around because I'm like, I'm her best friend. So, of course, I'm going to be very affected. But I turned around, like, everyone was crying. And I felt like the nighttime show, I was like third row, like right in front of her. She's singing right to me the whole time. And I just was like, is it just me? Because I know her so well. But no, it's not just me. Like, everyone around me was sobbing. Like, and that's the power of music, right?
Yeah,
The music heals us, it transforms us, it we make our memories based off of songs, good or bad memories.
yeah,
So yeah, like it is just to see her living her dream and her passion. That's another thing. Like the girls that I do know from the show, we're all exactly where we're meant to be. I am meant to be a suburban mom living in San Clemente with my 4-year-old that I thought I couldn't have a child. Like I'm so happy with the life that I've created, co-created with God, right? And
yeah,
I'm so happy for the life that Nicole has created being this Broadway star. And I'm so happy for Garland. Like what she does, she's a PhD. She is a psychotherapist. Like
yeah.
she is incredible. So it just feels there's so many people that are on our show that have just done incredible things. And even the ones that, are moms like me, we're all doing like I can't think of something cooler than being a mom because that's like the season I'm in right now with the small
Hmm.
like whoo, that is the most joyful, hardest work.
Oh
Let
yeah.
me tell you. So yeah, I'm happy to see us all thriving.
Yeah. Is there anything else that you would like to share, whether it was from the show or what you're working on, or any fun stories that you would want to share with the viewers?
I'm not sure. I feel like I've shared everything from the show I want to share, but I think the one last thing that I kind of want to leave you with is like anybody that sees this or sees you, we all are so much more powerful and capable than we realize. Like we just have to trust in ourselves and do the work, stay consistent, and we really can have the things we want in life. I think that's my message, you know?
Really, really good message.
Yeah.
But I do want to thank you so much for doing this. I know that you're a busy woman. You have so many things going on. So I really appreciate you taking the time to do this interview with me, talk about a little bit of pop stars and post life for pop stars. So 13-year-old me is I'm literally like still right now in shock, like, oh my God, I'm talking to somebody that I saw in one of my favorite TV shows forever ago.
Oh,
So for
we
me,
should do
it's
a
kind of like when I do
reunion.
these, it's like a
Let's
little
get
full circle
everyone.
moment. What was
Yeah,
that?
well, I was just saying we should do a reunion and get everyone, like get Garland, get Nicole, get Shonda, get Chesa. Like we should have like, you know
Yes,
how they do it
literally.
in regular reality now. Like what's it called? After, I don't know, all the reality TV shows have a reunion. Like we
Yeah.
should get, and I'll help you get everyone because I'm good at connecting people.
Yeah,
So
I
I'll
mean
help
the
you.
girls that I have interviewed, and even there's still quite a few that I have not interviewed, but we're in contact to do
Good.
like interviews. So, but yeah, they have all said the same thing. Like, if you're able to get everyone together, that would be like so great. Even Garland was saying they might know they might say things that I completely forgot about, or like their experience is a little bit different than mine. So, I mean,
Yeah.
ultimately, that would be. I think I would be like, but because I mean, it's so much excitement to have all you girls in one whole setting. That would be so much fun for me. So I will definitely work on that. I'll try to make that happen. But no, again, this has been so great. I thank you so much for doing this, Katie.
Well, it was my pleasure. And please reach out to me anytime if you need help getting one of the girls on the show. I would be glad to help with that. If you need help scheduling a reunion, because what you just said just struck something in me. It was 25 years ago, right? So we all have these different memories because we all have different lenses. We see the world like for me, I was battling eating disorder issues, and everybody had, like, I know Garland, she grew up in LA and she was jaded. Like we all have this specific lens from which we looked at that TV show on. So to bring all the lenses together would give us a really full picture of what happened. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
All the stories make this beautiful, epic journey that we were all in. And I'm just so grateful to you because you have connected us all. Like you are the star. You really are. You're the star that brought
Yeah.
us all
I mean, it's
together.
wild to me for me to hear that because I mean, some of the other girls have said that too, kind of like, "Oh my God, we've reconnected because of you,"
Yes,
and it's just
because
like
of
to me,
you.
that's
No, but like that's big. God is working through you big time, in my opinion. So yeah.
thank you for that. But thank
Yeah.
you again.
Thank you.